Welcome everyone. In the last video you have seen the theory part for operators. In this video I am going to show you how we can apply the operators in programs. So these are the programs that I'll be covering. So the first program is write a program to show the use of increment and decrement operator. So now we are going to Dev C++. There we will be writing the program. So this is Dev C++. So let's create a new file. You can click here also. So this is our new file. So first we are going to write the program that I'll be showing is to write a program to show the use of increment and decrement operators. So first of all I'm going to write down the program. First line hash include stdio.h main, and now let us take two variables, or let us take one variable. Let it be num be the name of the variable. Let us assign some value here, 23. So this part is known as variable initialization. So what is variable initialization? Assigning values to variables at the time of declaration. So I have done variable initialization here. Now let us apply the increment operator first. So the output will be, let us see what shall be the output. Let us give num plus plus, and it will end with a semicolon since it is a printf. So here from this section, that is increment and decrement operator, mostly in exams they ask whether like they will ask you to evaluate some, they will give some expression and evaluate the result. This one we have already seen in the last video, where expressions were given using operators and you were asked to show the output. So in this video, and you can get this type of examples also, where a chunk of code will be given and you will be asked to write down the output. Now this is a small example, code example I have written. So now we need to know what will be the output of this program. Now let me explain you. Here the value of num is 23. 23 is stored in num. Now here what will be the result? So here num plus plus, this is a increment operator postfix. So what happens in postfix? We evaluate the expression using the original value and then we increment or decrement it. So this is an postfix increment. So here what is the original value? 23. So when you will run this program, you will get 23 as the result. Now after evaluating the expression, then the value will be incremented by 1. So now if I want to know what is the current value of num, this time it will be 24. Now next you see, this is a prefix decrement operator. Now what happens in prefix? The operator will be evaluated first in the expression, that is it is decrement. So the value will be decremented in the expression itself, so it will become 20, and then here again the value of num is given, so again it is 23 only. So these are the output that we should get: 23, 24, 23, 23. Now let's run this program and see what answer we get. So we are going to cut this one. Let it, you can give any name you want. Let us give it as add.c. You can give any name you want, just the extension should be C. Okay, we have saved it. Now let us run, execute, compile and run. Wait, it will come. So you see it is coming 23, 24, 23, 23. The output is coming as a single number. The reason is that because I have not given any /n. So in order to, for the program to look good, let us give some white spaces. /n stands for new line. So now let us give /n, save it, and then again compile and run. So this time you can see it is coming in new line, 23, 24, 23, 23. Okay, so this is a program just to show the use of increment and Now we will see the next program. So here I will show you how to use the size of operator. So in the theory part I have already told you what is the purpose of size of operator. It gives you the size that is occupied by the variable in memory. So let us write down hash include stdio.h main. Okay, now here I am going to declare few variables. Int a equal to suppose 7, then float b equal to give some floating point number, then one character variable also I am declaring, let the value be k. So now I will using size of operator, I will try to show the size occupied by variable a, b and c. Now so here I will write down size of a is percentage d. Why I am giving percentage d, I will tell you. So here I am going to write down the size of operator, and then inside size of operator I am going to give the name of the variable whose size I want to know, suppose a. Okay, similarly we will write it for all the, let me just copy it so that I don't have to write it again. So okay, so size of b is size of b, it will end with a semicolon. I think I gave one more, this one. Okay, now one more printf, this one. Okay, so this is c. Now you see what will be the output of this program. So size of variable a is, I am calling the size of operator here, and mind it, size of is also a keyword. Okay, so here what are the keywords used in this program? Int, float, char and size of. So what is the size of a? What is the data type of a? Integer. Now what is the size of integer? 2 bytes for a 32-bit processor and 4 bytes for a 64-bit processor. So depending on what is the like bit size of your processor, you will get either 2 or 4 will be the answer. Similarly, what is the size of b? Even though b is a floating, the data type is float, I am giving it here percentage d. Why? Because the size occupied by this variable b in memory, how much size is occupied will be float. How much size, what is the size of float? 4 bytes. Obviously 4 is a integer number, so whatever value it will return, it is a integer type. So that's why I have given it as percentage d here. So what is the size of float? 4. So you will get the answer as 4. Similarly, size of c, what is the data type of c? Char. How much space is occupied by a character variable? 1 byte. So the answer will be 1. So like that you can find the, using size of operator, you can find out the size occupied by that operator variable in memory using size of. Okay, so for this particular program you will be getting 2 or 4 depending on your processor, then 4 for b and 1 for c. So let me cut it off. Okay, I hope it is clear. So, and remember b 7, 7.5 and k, these are not the size, these are the values present inside the variable. So I'll just save it. I have pressed Ctrl S, otherwise you can go to file and save it, and to run the program I'll just press F11. See, the size of a is 4. It is coming 4 because my processor is 32-bit, that sorry 64-bit. Then size of b is 4 and size of c is 1. It is coming in single line because I have not given /n. You can give /n and the output will come in 3 different lines. We are going to see the next program. So now we are going to find out the largest of two numbers using ternary or conditional operator. I have already shown you the syntax what is operator in the last video. You can check the last video to see the syntax. So here I am just going to write down the program. Now what is my aim? to find the largest of two numbers. Now, as I have told, whenever you are going to do a program, you need to find out, you need to visualize the output first. So what is the output for this program? So when you run the program, what should come? Enter two numbers. You will enter two numbers. So this is the output. Let me show you. Enter two numbers. So you will be entering suppose 3 and 6. So the next line should be largest number is 6. This should be your answer. So depending on this output, I am going to write down the program. So hash include stdio.h, then I'll write down main. I'm giving the loop. Now how many variables I need? I need two variables for storing these two numbers and one more variable to show the output. So in total I'll be declaring three variables. And what is the data type of all the numbers? Int. So I'm giving int, then I'm going to declare a, b and c. So a and b for the two numbers and c is for the result. So now in order to display this line enter two numbers, I'll give printf enter two numbers. That's it. It will end with a semicolon. Now I need to enter these two numbers, so I'll give scanf. How many percentage d I will give? 2 percentage d for the two numbers. First percentage d for a, second percentage d for b. It will end with a semicolon. Okay. Now I am going to apply the ternary operator. So what is the syntax? Whatever is the answer, it will be stored in variable c. So I am writing c equal to, now I'll give the condition or the expression. So what is my condition? A is greater than b or not. I want to find whether a is greater than b or not. I'll give like this and then write down question mark. So if this condition is true, what is the answer? What value should be stored in c? A. And if this condition is false, then you will be storing b, and it will end with a semicolon. Now if a is greater than b, if it is true, a will be stored in c, and if it is false, b will be stored in c. So whatever is the answer, it is stored in c. Now I need to display this line, largest number is this. So I'll just write down printf largest number is percentage d, because whatever is the answer is stored in variable c. So percentage d comma c. It will end with a semicolon. Got it? So now I'm going to run it. So let us delete this part. Save it. Press Ctrl S. Press F11. No, I pressed F10. Sorry, F11. So now you see enter two numbers. So let us enter 8 and 21. Two numbers I have entered. So the largest number is 21. Got it? Let us run once again. Let us give the larger number as the first one, 56 and 4. So the largest number is 50. Now I am going to write a program like to show the use of bitwise and shift operator. In the same program I will do the program and show you. So what I am going to do is that I am going to declare two variables, and on those two variables I will be applying bitwise and shift operator. So first one is hash include stdio.h, then main. Let us declare two variables. Let a be 23 and b equal to let it be 39. You can give any number you want. And now suppose I want to apply bitwise AND to these two numbers. So what I will write, bitwise AND is, so here in this part you can write basically whatever you want. So percentage d comma, what is the between a and b, I want to find out the bitwise AND. So I'll write down a, this is the symbol for bitwise AND, and then I'll give b, semicolon. So what is going to happen here? I have already told you that the bitwise operator operates at bit level, but this one is 23 that I have given. It is in it is a decimal number. So decimal 23 will be converted to bitwise binary number. Suppose I am just assuming that this is suppose, I don't know, like I am just assuming that this is suppose a. Okay, suppose this is the binary equivalent of a, and suppose this is the binary equivalent of B. I am just writing, this is not correct, I am just writing. So what will be the binary bitwise AND between A and B? So what will be the answer? Let me show you, just let it move this side little bit. Okay, so what will be the answer? What is the bitwise AND? You need to know the truth table. So 1 and 0 is 0, then 1 and 1 is 1, 0 and 1 is 0, then 1 and 0 is 0, 1 and 1 is 1, and again 1 and 1 is 1. So this is the answer that you are getting after applying the bitwise AND. How I am getting these numbers? Based on the truth table that you already know in maths. Okay, so this is the binary equivalent, but here the binary equivalent is not going to be displayed, the decimal equivalent is going to be displayed. So this binary number will be converted to decimal number, and whatever is the answer, it will be displayed here. So you just you can take some small numbers so that you can convert it quickly and see whether it is correct or not. Similarly, I can find the bitwise OR and bitwise OR. I'll just copy it and paste it here. So bitwise OR is, let me go here, the bitwise OR is, so here I'll give the OR symbol, this is the OR symbol, end it with a semicolon. Similarly, again printf, if you want to find the bitwise XOR, so bitwise XOR is %d, here I'll give the symbol. What is the symbol? This is the symbol. Okay, similarly, if you want to apply shift operator, suppose I want to left shift this number variable a by 1, so what I'll write, left shift a is %d. I want to left shift it by 1, so I'll write down a, this is the symbol for left shift 1. Similarly, if we want to right shift b by suppose 2, so printf right shift b is %d, so here b right shift 2. Now how does exactly left shift and right shift works or bitwise operator works? The theory part I have given it in the last video, you can check it out. So now let us save it and run it, because even I don't know the answer here. So here everything is coming in the same line because I have not given new line. So bitwise AND is 7, bitwise OR is 55, so you can see bitwise OR is 48, like that everything is coming. So the way you want to show your output, you give the /n wherever you want. We have completed the programs that I wanted to show the use of operators. So now we are going to go through a new concept which is called type conversion. Now what is type conversion? So type conversion is nothing but it is done when the expression has variables of different data types. The data is promoted from lower to higher level automatically. The hierarchy of data from higher to lower is double, float, int, char. So char is having the lowest hierarchy. So after that int, then float, then double. Now suppose we are declaring one variable float x, then we are having another variable int y equal to 3. Now you see x equal to y I am writing. So what is the value present in y? 3. So and it is stored in variable x. Now when you will display x, it will come as 3.0. And what is happening? The integer value is converted to higher hierarchy, which is of float. Now here this is called as type conversion. The lower level value gets converted to higher level value automatically. We are not writing any code here, we are simply writing x equal to y. So this is type conversion. Now next one is typecasting. It is also called forced conversion. So when it is done when the expression has variables of different data types. The data is demoted from higher level to lower level. Now consider this example. We are having a float variable a equal to 500.0 and int res. Now we are storing, actually I want to write res equal to a, that is the value of a I want to store in res. Now what is the value of a? 500.0. This is a higher level and I will be shifting it to a lower level. So if I write simply res equal to a, you will get errors. Here the first I will have to convert the higher level variable to lower level, and then I will store it in result. So that's why I will have to write it in int. So before a I should write down the data type to which I want to demote the variable. So now I am going to show you one example like type 1 program to show the use of typecasting. Write down a program and show you the use of typecasting and type conversion. First I am going to show you type conversion, which is like conversion of a lower variable to a higher variable. It is done automatically. So let's create one lower variable, let the value be 6, and then we will create a higher variable. So I will convert, like I will assign, I'm going to assign this lower variable to higher variable. So I'm simply going to write down a equal to b, and then I will write down print %d comma b. So when I will run this program, so the value of a is 6, but here the value of a is converted to higher value. So what answer you will get? You will get 6.0. It will convert it to float, that is the integer value is converted to float, and it will be done automatically. I am not writing any code here, simply it does it automatically. So if I save it and run this program, let me run the program. Wait, what's wrong? Oh sorry, here I should give f, I forgot this one. So here you see it is converted to 6.0, but here it was 6. So this is known as type conversion. Now I will show you typecasting. What is conversion from higher to lower, and it is done forcefully. So here it is the variable, and here suppose I am giving some value 5.6. Now I want to convert the higher variable to lower variable, that is float will become integer. So if I simply write like this, it is not going to work. So b is float, so I need to convert it to int. So I will write like this, and then I will have to run this program. This one will be d, so, and this one also a. So if I run this, the answer you will get is, it was 5.6, so you will get 5. Okay, but it depends on the compiler also. In some compilers this is done, this typecasting, nowadays the typecasting is also done automatically, and in some, write down this code. So let us see whether in Dev C++ supported or not. Save it, run it. See, I have written it in, now it is coming like 5. It was 5.6, but it got converted to this one. Now let us see whether this compiler does it automatically or not. Let us delete this one and just see. It does it automatically. So in Dev C++ we need not apply typecasting, but suppose you are using Turbo C or Turbo C++, then you will have to write down, otherwise it is not going to work. So depending on your compiler, you may need or need not write the forced conversion. Okay, but still this is a concept which you should know, that's why I am giving the program.